Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching from. My name is Amos Onyango, and the show is Living for Value, brought to you by Lawi Africa. Just before we start our topic of today, I want to take this opportunity to wish our brothers and sisters in the Republic of Ghana a very peaceful and credible election as they elect their leaders today. Now, as we start our topic of today, which is a brief history of Professor Wangari Maathai, I want to quote one of my favorite quotes from her book, which says that we do the right thing not to please people, but because it is the only logical and reasonable thing to do. Now, as long as we are honest with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, you will always remain relevant. And this we learn from Professor Wangari Maathai. Now, Professor Wangari Maathai Muta was born on 1st day of April, and that was in 1940. I don't know if majority of you who are watching were born by then. And she was born at Nyeri in the Central Islands of Kenya in Africa. So she went to St. Cecilia Intermediary. This was a mission boarding school that was in primary education. And when studying at St. Cecilia, she was shattered from the ongoing Mau Mau uprising, which I think majority of you might have heard about. And this forced her mom to move from their homestead to an emergency village in Itite. Now, when she completed her studies at St. Cecilia in 1956, she was rated the first in her class, and she was very bright and was granted admission to the first and only Catholic girls' school by then, that is Loreto High School. Now I think there are so many Catholic girls' schools around Kenya and even in Africa. Now, Maathai higher education began in 1964 in the United States, where she obtained a Bachelor of Science in Biology at St. Scholastica, that is now known as Benedictine College. I think majority who are in the United States might have heard of it. And in 1966, she graduated with a master's degree in biological science at the University of Petersburg in the same USA. Now, in 1971, she received a PhD at the University of Nairobi, becoming the first black woman in Eastern and Central Africa to earn a doctorate degree. But then so many women were not educated, and even if they were educated, then a majority didn't reach that level that Wangari reached. Now, she began teaching in the Department of Veterinary and Anatomy at the University of Nairobi in Kenya, that is in Africa. And after graduating, that was in 1977, she became the chair of the same department. Now, while working with the National Council of Women of Kenya, Maathai developed the idea that village women could be empowered to improve the environment by planting trees to provide fuel, and also to slow down the process of deforestation. So in 1977, she founded a very good organization, which I think majority of you might have heard of. This was the Green Belt Movement. And the Green Belt Movement began as a project of the National Council of Women of Kenya, of which she was a member. Women were coming to this organization complaining of deforestation and even complaining of the condition of the environment. And by then, streams were drying up and poor harvests were experienced, and women could not even get firewood. They could, even if there were firewood, they could walk very far distant just in search of it so that they could have something to help them cook for their families. Now, as a result of this movement, similar initiatives emerge from different parts of African countries, including Tanzania, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe. So many countries emerged with such initiative because this initiative was really impactful and helpful to the society. And in 1987, leaders of the Greenbelt movement established the Pan-African Greenbelt Network in order to educate world leaders and Africans about conserving and improving the environment. Now, through the Greenbelt movement, Wangari Maathai mobilized thousands and thousands of women and men to plant millions of trees throughout Kenya. Now, Professor Wangari Maathai's approach was practical based and not theoretical. She could actually be seen planting the tree and demonstrating to the society what they were supposed to do. And apart from just being environmentalist, Wangari Maathai was an advocate for human rights, and she was also an advocate for HIV and AIDS prevention, and she raises women issues during the she raises so many concerns about women during forums, and she frequently excuse me, she frequently represented their concerns at the meeting of the United Nations Assembly, something that is very interesting. Now, she was then elected to the Kenya National Assembly in the year 2002 with 98% of the vote. This is something I don't think if there is anybody who has gotten this, any woman who has ever gotten such kind of voting. And in the year 2003, she was appointed the Assistant Minister of Environment and Wildlife. And within a few years, Professor Wangari Maathai realized that there was a lot of corruption within the Kenyan system, something she was not happy about. She tried to empower people, educate people, and expose such kind of things just to ensure that there was sanity in African politics. Now, it was very interesting that these activities brought Professor into direct conflict with the Kenyan government. And as a result of this, she was being harassed, threatened, beaten, and even jailed. But the interesting part of it is that Wangari Maathai earned national recognition and global recognition for her transformative work, working tirelessly as a member of parliament and as an assistant minister for the environment. She even fought for women's rights. She fought for democratic space, and she fought corruption. So this is something that was very unique with Professor Wangari Maathai, something that the society found interesting to work with her. Now, the interesting part of it also is that in the year 2004, she was awarded Nobel Prize for Peace, becoming the first Black African woman to win a Nobel Prize. Very interesting. And during that time, she wrote her first book, and the book was The Greenbelt Movement. She was just sharing a practical approach about the Greenbelt movement and empowering young people on how to take good care of the environment. Now, in 2007, she published another book, and this was a autobiography just describing who she is, the twists and turns that she went through. And the book, I think majority of you maybe have read the book. It's a very interesting book. In 2009, uh, Wangari Maathai wrote another book, and this was The Challenge for Africa. And she criticized African leadership as infactual and urged Africans to try to solve their own problems without seeking any assistance from the Western. Now, she was very interesting because she wanted Africans to be self-reliant, and that could be seen from her talks, her motivations, her writings, her fought for humanity. But it was very unfortunate that we lost this brilliant mind, this brilliant activist on the on September the 25th day of 2011. That was in 2011, I mean, on 25th day in Nairobi, Kenya. It was very sad that we lost her. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have learned something from this brief history of Wangari Maathai. Remember, she once said that do not be afraid of speaking out when you know that you are right. Fear has never been a source of security. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amos Onyango, and the show is Living for Value. See you next time. Bye-bye.